John Bon here. Up here watching the balloon fiesta. Hopefully we can see it now. I tried to make a video earlier. I don't think you can. There's a bunch of hot air balloons down there and they're doing their thing. So today I was going to talk to you about hallucinating. What is a Well, what happens when you hallucinate, John Bon? That's the real question. And it's actually fairly simple, and I tie it back into all my other teachings and all my other discoveries. This ties into multiple dimensional theory, it ties into science, and it ties into, well, I'll just give you my explanation. How about that? And you could decide what it ties into. So, first off, I want to start off by saying your eyes are filters. They are not windows. Sorry if I'm distracted. The balloon fiesta is going on, and I'm way up on the mountain. I get to see just hundreds, if not thousands, of balloons are just dotting the sky, and it's very scenic. But your eyes are filters. They are not windows. With that being said, I need to stop right there, and I need to go back to my good old Tesla and Einstein. As always, I say this. Tesla said that ultimately everything is a frequency. Remember, everything is a frequency. Then Einstein said E equals mc squared. For those of you that don't kind of know what that translates into, it means that mass and energy are interchangeable. What is energy? We don't know. It's like gravity. We know it's there. We know what it does, but we can't really see it. You can't touch it. It's not tangible. However, energy makes up everything. All this stuff behind me, that mountain, that's all just static energy. It's not frozen. It's static. That's the better word for it. It means it's just kind of slowed down enough for us to enjoy it, to use it, to experience it. But it can be converted back. So all that could become energy again. It's not really matter for the rest of life. And matter and energy can either be created or destroyed. Now, if you destroy or you smash up matter, you speed up to the speed of light and you smash it into each other in one of those particle colliders, we can watch it become energy again. But we can also watch it disappear out of our reality. And if there's one reality, the fact that it could leave our reality means that if there is one reality, there have to be infinite. And what does infinite mean? Infinite means there is no beginning and that there is no end, okay? There is no beginning and there is no end. That's really hard to understand and it really boggles the mind, but literally there is no end. Well, there has to be an end. Well, no, there isn't. It's literally an infinite loop. Well, what's a loop? Doesn't that come back around on itself? Well, perhaps. I'm getting off topic. Anyway, so E equals mc squared. Energy and matter can be interchanged, and Tesla said that everything is a frequency. I've also said that your eyes are filters, they are not windows. What is light? Light's a frequency. The multiple dimensional theory, we have to go to that one real quick. I like to explain it this way. You can play video games, okay? You could play Mario, you could play Halo, you could play Grand Theft Auto. What do they know about each other? I've said this in the past, they know nothing about each other. What do you know about them? You know everything. You could play them, right? I could tie this into souls and spirits so much further, but I need to stop right there. Now we're playing all three of these games online. When you're playing them online in an apartment complex, let's say everybody in every apartment complex is playing video games. Everybody, wow, you know, online and whatever they're doing. But there's not hundreds of millions of cables coming out of the back of a building. There's just not. There's eventually comes down to one big fat one. One heavy-duty cable that could carry all that information. Now, when you're playing Halo, when you're playing Mario, when you're playing Grand Theft Auto online, do you ever see Mario come run across the screen and pop a mushroom out of Halo and then just take off? No. Do you ever have Grand Theft Auto and, you know, come across and shoot up Halo? No, that doesn't happen. But when you're playing games, you are literally playing with whoever you want to play with, and you're in your own little world. You're on your own TV screen. What is all that? Those are frequencies. That's information. That is a frequency, just like this. Everything is a frequency, right? But when you play Halo, when you play Grand Theft Auto, when you play these things, they don't overlap each other. They don't interfere with each other. But they're all in the same cable. That ties into the interdimensional theory. They say everything is happening right here, right now. It's just at a different frequency, which is a different dimension, however you want to look at it. When you're hallucinating, depending on what you're seeing, your eyes have been peeled back. The filters are you're removing the filters. How can I say this better? Adam and Eve. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. And Adam came down, and Adam could converse and talk to angels and gods. And then when he sinned, got the ego, he lost that ability. When babies are born, do they have sin? Do they have an ego? No, but babies are universal. You could take an American baby, I always say to China, not trying to be like stereotypical, but you know, you could raise up an American white baby as a Chinese person. They'll learn the language, they'll learn everything. They're not pre-programmed as Americans. They don't like come out, you know, praising Jesus and shooting things in Texas and that kind of stuff. You know, you have to learn how to do that. You have to learn how to walk. You have to learn how to talk. You have to learn to eat. You have to learn what you're going to do. You have to learn what you're going to say. You have to learn everything. I made nothing. I didn't make the clothes that I'm wearing. I didn't make the shoes that I'm wearing. I didn't make the car that I'm driving. I didn't make the house that I live in. I didn't create the job that I work. I didn't do any of that stuff. You know, that you literally have to realize you just kind of do things in life. You don't really create. Those who do create get rewarded. However, just as you had to learn how to walk, just as you learn how to talk, you had to learn all these things. You had to learn to see what to see and what not to see. You had to learn to what to see and what not to see. Now I can explain this. Have you ever been holding a baby in your arms and you're sitting there like, oh, my little baby, and, you know, brand new baby. Brand new is a key word there, not an older baby, but a brand new baby. And they're sitting there looking there at their little helpless face, and they're like happy and they're smiling at you, and all of a sudden they just, and you're there like, what the F are you looking at? Like, is there a fly on the roof? Like, what are you looking? And they're seriously, almost every baby will do this. They'll sit there and they'll just watch something really slow. And they're staring at the roof because they're on their back and they're looking straight up. It's not like there's a cat walking across the roof, but they're seeing something. Their eyes can still see into the other dimensions. They have to learn what dimension to see and what dimensions not to see. They have to filter that stuff out. Because you don't see it, they don't see it. Because you eat this food, they eat this food. Because you wear these clothes, or you tell them to wear these clothes, they will wear these clothes. But because you cannot see the things in the other dimensions, they cannot see these other things. But babies can in the beginning. They do see them, but they learn to not see them after a while. Cats do this too. My friend Jared Baxter Sims has a crazy cat, man. That is the coolest cat. But that cat chases things that are not there. I've scanned the house. There's not a gnat, there's not a fly, and that cat is definitely on the prowl. It is hunting something that is there, and it's running around the house chasing stuff. Cats do this a lot too. But that's pretty much all that it comes down to. I don't know if I even explained myself. Yeah, so when you're on a hallucinogenic or something like that, your eyes are just opening up the filters. You're seeing more of the frequencies that are available out there. Because remember, what is light? It's ultimately a frequency. When it hits your eyeballs, what does it become? It gets translated via your retinas or your coronas, or not coronas, that's a drink, corneas, you know, into electrical impulses. That's a frequency, right? Everything ultimately is a frequency. Okay, for those of you who have had lesser hallucinogenics, I want to explain something to you. If you've ever sat on the toilet, especially on shrooms, or even medical stuff, my mom went to the hospital and she came back hallucinating. Kind of cool, you know, glad she got to experience it. But that was a medical thing. She didn't like go do drugs. She almost died. But if you've sat there and you've seen, like, if you're sitting on the toilet or something like that, or you're looking at a wall and all of a sudden you see just it move, and you see shapes and you see colors, and it's just kind of moving. Everything's moving. It's just kind of like flowing like that. Do you remember in the Matrix when you see the little zeros and the ones going down the screen, and like, this is the Matrix, you know? You see zeros and ones, but I see this. You have to think, if this is a game, it's got to be on God's level or on a higher dimensional level. Zeros and ones won't cut it. When you see shapes, if you've ever hallucinated, you've seen the shapes, little geometric shapes like squares, diamonds, and they're colorful and they're just moving. That's all you could describe them as, geometric shapes. They're not zeros and ones. They're definitely shapes, and they're definitely colorful, and they're just flowing. That is no different than the zeros and the ones in the Matrix. That's the code that makes up this reality. You've simply seen the code. Hopefully I've explained things to you. Hopefully I didn't confuse you. Man, it's just beautiful up here, and the balloons are just everywhere, and I see a few hundred now. Hopefully you guys can see them. Before I end this video, let's see if we can't go back this way. You can hear the helicopters. But have a good day. Become the greatest version of yourself. Remember, life is literally a game for your soul. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to do all this stuff. I need to start telling people how not to suffer and how to manipulate life. Because you can. You can do whatever you want. Have a great day. Become the greatest version of yourself.